What does that mean?
That just means we've begun.
Oh,
that means
okay.
the Growth by Shawn podcast has started.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright, cool.
Once we have the clap.
Do I have to do the clap?
You can do the clap. Thank you. Now we've officially started.
I feel
so,
great now.
Guys, welcome back to the Growth by Shawn podcast. I know that we're really excited to have Alicia Rose on today. Okay? Why don't you just start by giving us the definition of emotional intelligence? I'm just kidding.
I was like, no.
I'm just kidding. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about you?
Me? Okay.
Yeah, you. You're here. We
that's true.
invited you to be here.
It was a
Okay.
pretty special invitation. I feel pretty great about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like to think that I'm interesting, even though I'm probably not.
That's why we invited you, though. I think you're interesting. To a point. To a degree.
There is a cap on that. I'm 25. I'm from a small town called Ashland that nobody has ever heard of.
I've heard of Ashland.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I rarely get that reaction. Most people are like, oh, it's off the highway, seen that sign. And I'm like, yeah, it's a place. And I went to college, didn't finish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, hated it.
I hated it too.
UMass
But I
Dartmouth.
finished. Oh, you went to UMass Dartmouth?
Yeah.
I went to UMass Dartmouth for 1 year.
So mundane, so awful.
It was terrible. It was the dungeon.
Oh yeah, it's an
Yeah.
awful place.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. I
Yep.
held on for 3 years and then I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing that. And then I wandered into Gridiron, Swansea, and I never left.
Wow.
I like people. Bartending was for me. I got to talk to people all the time. It was way more interesting.
What makes a good restaurant person? Restaurant employee?
A good restaurant
What are
employee?
some top qualities that you need to have?
Okay, you have to have a personality. Number one, you have to have a personality. There's been so many people that walk in and all they get is complaints because they have no personality. You cannot go in if you are just the most boring human in the world.
Okay.
You also have to have a vice, for
Yep,
sure.
yep, as we were saying.
Yeah,
Yep.
we talked about that.
Yeah.
You need a vice.
Yeah.
Vaping, alcoholism, pothead, gambling addiction. I
Yeah.
recruit that also. Keno is my nemesis now.
Keno?
Yes.
You're on the Keno train?
I've been on the Keno train. Can't get
You
off.
are much more of a sick individual.
Yeah,
than I really
once you
thought.
get on, once you get on, you can't get off. You really can't.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I don't win anymore. Especially if it's slow at work. The amount of money, I basically work for free some days. That's pretty cool. You have to like people. You cannot work in a restaurant if you hate people.
You hate people,
But at
though,
this-
to a degree.
Well, I was gonna
you
say,
know?
but then also you go into the restaurant industry thinking you love people, and then by like I would give you like a month, and then you hate people. You would
Yeah.
immediately hate people.
Here's a good question. What makes a good regular and what makes a bad regular?
Oh my god. From personal experience.
Yes, personal experience only.
Okay, so the best regulars are definitely townies. Like the bar you work at, the townie regulars are the best.
Mhm.
They always like want to know the new person, especially if you're not from the area. Like I remember when I worked there and everyone just was like so interested in knowing who I was when I got behind the bar. Because like everyone that goes to your restaurant, you pretty much already know.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're always drunk, the drunks. If you're going to a town bar and you're not a drunk, you're irrelevant. You just are like automatically kind of docked points there.
I feel kind of irrelevant right now.
No, because you literally blacked out. Kind of. Maybe browned out. You lost pieces.
Well, no, yes and no. We've all had nights like that. This was just unexpected. You know what? Continue. This is not about me. Okay?
Yeah.
This is about you.
This is true. I was wondering why you're stealing the spotlight for a second. But you gotta tip well. You have to tip well. Great
Yeah.
regulars always tip well. It's always over 20%.
Mm.
Hands down, bow down to them. They get the best service. You're gonna greet them first. What's it called? Oh, they're ball busters.
Okay.
They're always ball busters.
They
give
also
you-
have a personality.
They have a personality as well. The worst regulars, oh my god. They're entitled. They sit down in the seat and they're entitled. Just because they go there all the time and they know you
The
by
same
name.
seat?
More or less the
Okay.
same seat. Like
Yeah.
I have people that need to sit in the same general area. They will sit down at the bar, but then as soon as that seat or that spot that they like, they will literally get up and move because they just were like, I needed to be in my spot. They didn't know. Those people didn't know, but this is like my spot. You're the worst. You're
Yeah.
literally the worst person. You walk in, they walk in and they go, Hey, I haven't seen you in 2 days. You missed me? How's this place been running without me? Oh my god. You're the worst. You're literally the worst person. Always tips like minimal, like always single digits, never got a double digit tip. Like you know it's coming. Complain that you pay attention to the other regulars that are like the good ones all the time. The always think they can hit on you or like get in on like the comments with other people even though like it's very obvious you dislike them. Never get the hint. Or come in just because of the sole fact that you dislike them. They just thrive on it. I don't understand it.
That sounds terrible.
I have an old man that does it.
No, stop.
I have an old man that does it, and
Stop.
because he probably does not understand technology, I have no problem talking about him. We call him. He gave himself the nickname.
Yeah.
He gave himself
He
the
said,
nickname.
"Call?"
He sat down, and I knew him as, and he said, you know, most people, you can call me because they're so. And I said, can I get some background? And he said, my lines.
That's the
So-
whole story?
That's the whole story. That was his only reasoning. So I said, okay, so we go off. He once left me 2 pennies.
Stop.
He said, keep the change. So I put the 2 pennies down and I said, it's okay. I don't want that.
On what?
I think it was on 14 something.
Still.
It was like $14.98. He left the 2 pennies. He said, it's all set.
No matter what you get, I don't care if you only spend $10, $5.
$5 minimum.
$5 minimum.
So he's learned
That's
now. Now he gives me $5 every time. But I think it's because I've talked so much shit to him. So I've also gotten to the point where he only comes in on the days I'm working because everyone else has been so mean to him. But when I'm mean to him, he takes it as we're like the best of friends. And
He loves it.
He
Hard
loves
to
it.
get.
Thrives on it. Thrives on it. He will walk in, real story, he walked in, sat at the bar, and said, can I tell you something? And I said, sure. And he said, I don't like your hair today. I think it looked better yesterday. And I said, what on earth makes you think that I wanted that feedback or that like I really give one single shit about what you think of my hair? And his reasoning was because he got a haircut and I didn't notice. Mind you, he always wears a hat. He's 71 years old. He always wears a hat. He has longer hair. Hat, how would I know you have a haircut? And he took off his hat and it was brushed to the side. And I said, congratulations, nice comb over. I really am digging the comb over. And this made him livid because he said it wasn't a comb over. This is not a comb over, this is my hair. And I said, well, you're bald and you put like 5 strands of hair over the bald, which is called a fucking comb over. That is literally a comb over. He still comes in, despite the insult that he was very mad about. Also told me that he would leave and never come back. And I said, permanently? He said, permanently. And I said, as permanent as a Sharpie? And he said, yes. And I said, I will applaud you on your way out. He came back the next Wednesday.
Yep, that sounds right.
So
That
upsetting.
sounds right.
He also got into a fight with another old man and then told me to call 911.
Stop.
He told me to call 911. And he said, Alicia, call the cops. And I sighed so loud. And I just went in the back and was like, can someone come out and make sure these 2 old dudes are fine? The other guy is a sweetheart. His name's Eric. Love him. The best. So sweet. And she initiated it. And then I said, what am I supposed to do? He said, you need to call the cops. I said, what do you want me to do? He said, it is a hate crime to hurt the elderly or to
It is?
scuffle. Yeah, apparently. You can't like just go beat up a 70-year-old man. Like I get
I don't
it.
think you can beat up anyone.
Well,
But-
yes, but like apparently you get in more trouble for beating the shit out of an old man.
I don't.
Not that he got the shit beat out of him. He got stiff-armed when he was trying to throw a piece of paper in another older man's beverage. And then he took a 30-second tumble to the ground and then left his feet in the air while yelling to call the cops. No one assisted him. No one.
I'm picturing
No
it.
one tried.
I'm picturing
No
it.
one, I'm telling you, no one got out of their seat. Everyone just stood there trying not to laugh or just baffled by the situation. And he helped himself up, stumbled away, and then like had a little cut and then put a bandage over it and said, he cut me. Look at all these bruises. And I said, you're old. Those have been there. That's like the old people purple thing. And then he said, but that's a hate crime. And I said, what do you want me to do? Call the cops. I said, he was old too. That's like 2 young people getting into an argument. I can't call the cops and say one old guy got in a fight with another old guy. They're just gonna look at you guys and be like, you're old, figure it out. You're grown men. You're the definition of grown-ass men.
Yes.
Figure it out. That is the worst. He is the epitome of the worst customer. Also, those customers that act like they're your best friends and act like your homies, but then continuously tip you 10%. I hate it. I hate them. I have 2 of them, and they're a couple. They're the worst.
That sounds awful.
Everybody argues over who gets them. I pray my bar is full, and then they sit at a table, and the waitresses go, no. And I go, I'm so thankful it's you and not me today.
Oh, that sounds awful. Some people are just miserable.
They're the worst. But they're like not miserable people. They'll
They
spend so much money on Keno and scratch tickets, and then they'll gamble, but then they'll also say how they're poor, but then they tip you 10%, no matter what. There's no other choice. They spend 80, you get what?
10.
10?
8.
They spend 100. They spend $110. I got $9 every time. It's always expected every time.
God.
Yeah.
This is awful.
You also have people that come in that are so high they don't know what's going on. Those are like hate them.
Yeah, I can understand that.
'Cause, like,
it depends how they interact with you.
Exactly.
You know? Like if you're gonna interact, then it's fun.
Yeah.
But if they're just like hat down and they just don't know what's going on,
Can't speak.
like
What do you want to eat? They have no idea. It takes them 10 minutes to figure out how to get the words out.
You
and
know,
I'm like,
when they say onion rings when you don't have them,
Yeah.
like that type of thing.
the worst. And then there's those guys that walk in and then I go, I know who's here, and then they're funny, they're great, they're just stoned, living their best life,
whatever.
Eating, drinking a couple beers.
Yeah.
Those people I envy.
Yeah. Do you think it bothers other people at the bar when someone comes in?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
There's
Have
no getting
people
around
talked
it.
to you about it?
Yeah. They
And
go,
been like, what do they say?
They go, it smells so much like weed in here. And I go, I know. Because those people clearly smoked weed before they walked in here. The problem is I could aerosol it, but if you've ever been around people who smoke weed, no matter how much aerosol,
It doesn't matter.
it'll still smell like weed.
Yeah.
And also you will cough and your food will taste like chemicals, so I'm
Yeah.
just not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. What do you want me to do? Make them go change?
Yeah.
Tie a little tree around their neck? There's literally nothing I can do about this
Yeah.
at all. Like, we're just going to have to embrace it. That's all you could do.
Yeah.
But people love to complain.
You just gotta ask people, like, how do you know what weed smells like? You know?
Also
When someone asks, just, that's my go-to answer.
Either you've been around it or you also smoke it, so why
Yeah.
are we having this
Yeah.
conversation?
Why does it matter? You know?
They probably want some, that's
Unless-
also probably why.
Yeah, yeah. I understand, like, sometimes there's, like, a little kid in there or something, you feel kind of bad, but at the same time, like, you just get over it.
Like,
You know?
especially because I work at a sports bar, like my favorite thing, like with people that complain, like, oh, it smells like weed, or like the people that come in on Friday nights and they go, how can you hear anything? It's so loud in here. I'm like, well, it's a sports bar
Yeah.
on a Friday night.
It's supposed to be loud.
So like if you were, yeah, exactly. If you were looking for something else, maybe try like the Olive Garden or like any kind of like older
Yep.
person restaurant and
Yeah.
you'll find what you're looking for. I don't
Yeah.
know what made you think that like you were gonna walk in here and everyone was gonna be like super quiet.
Yeah.
There was no way you were getting that.
That's
And it's always old people that complain.
Yeah. What do you think of me and Kyle as bar guests? Like on a
As
scale
bar
of 1
guests?
to 10. And you can be honest.
Am I talking about
be a
overall
third.
general or can I say like, so when you guys first
You can-
came in, so like when you first started coming into Grid,
Okay,
you were very quiet, I didn't really know
agree.
you.
Well, no, we had never chatted before, but then
No.
like you build just a
the rapport.
rapport. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking for the word.
I
Yeah,
got
go
you
ahead,
there.
go ahead.
That
go
was
ahead.
my intellect,
Yeah.
my intellectual
Yeah,
moment.
thank
I have
you.
to give you a word. No, you guys, first of all, always tip 20% or more. It's always between 20 and 30. Greatly
badass.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Basically, you're the best customer already.
Yeah.
You've already hit the maximum you can. I feel like you guys always keep to yourself. Like it's very quiet, like conversation until like there's a moment for like me to engage. Like last time you guys were there, I was
Yeah.
I was stuck at the dishwasher because it
Yeah.
was broken for so long. So that gave so much
And we weren't
opportunity
just gonna
for
stare
this.
at you.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Then I would have just been like, hi. I get.
Yeah.
Then I do my
Well.
awkward movements and my hand movements, and I'm like, so like, do you need something? How are you doing?
Yeah.
But no, always like it's always short conversations. I feel like, especially because I knew you worked at those bars too.
Mhm.
Like I feel like I can easily walk away at any moment, and you guys will not be like, well, that was so rude.
No.
Like if
we'll
I have something to do,
yeah,
I can
we'll-
just be like, I need to leave. Goodbye.
Yeah, you're working.
Yeah,
we get it. Whatever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're generally like, I wouldn't say like you're like the regulars that are like really loud and interactive with everybody. I feel like you guys like do your own thing, and like if conversation happens or comes your way, you're like, all right, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But like you're not like a standout. Like you don't. I don't know how to.
People aren't gonna remember us per se.
Like you're not like a
unless we come in all
standout
the
customer.
time,
Yeah. Like I only recognize you because you guys came in all the time. You took a hiatus there though. It felt like I hadn't seen you in forever.
We did. We've been off and on for a couple of years.
Yeah,
you know?
like it's like either you guys come in for a period of time and then you stop,
Yeah.
or like you're not. Yeah.
It depends like what we're doing and what work is like and things of that nature.
Yeah.
We had, I believe that we had met though at the Somerset Grid
Yes.
when you were working there.
Yeah.
And one night it was really crazy because the first night we didn't know you. I believe this was the first time that like
You're gonna have to refresh my memory
yeah,
here.
we remembered this, okay? Because
Oh thank God.
yeah, we really remembered this, okay?
I'm very nervous now.
But what happened, you were one of the bartenders. You took care of us and there was another girl or another two girls that took care of us, whatever. But our tab should have been literally, and it was it was
Okay,
awesome.
if my boss is watching this was years ago, way before COVID. I've never done this since. I don't do this. Okay.
Maybe the tabs got mixed up. We don't know. We didn't care. Okay. I don't even know if it was you that handed it to us. It's like 1 in the morning.
Okay. I'm gonna say it was probably one of the other girls that didn't bring some stuff in.
I don't remember who it was. Okay. I really.
I don't believe that was me. Also, I was younger and newer. I very much so could have just fucked some stuff up. We're gonna go with that answer. I'm not gonna say I deliberately did that because I don't believe I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
But it was like we left like $30, you know, but we were like. 30's plenty, you know. I mean,
we probably should have spent like 100, but
yeah,
like.
Yeah, we could have left more, but we just did. I mean, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, but like.
And you're drunk, and you're like, "This is a great tip for a great tab." I don't know what happened, but we're not gonna say anything, and we're just gonna give a shit.
Yep.
Shitload of money for a tip.
That was it.
Well, you're so very welcome for that experience.
That was one of the first times we remembered you. But then we started going. Then either you started there or we started going there. Either way,
yeah, because I started
you were there
at the
and we were there.
Yeah.
And we were like, we know her. that was more or less.
Let's see if the tab looks the same this time.
Yeah.
How much can we drink and how much will disappear? Let's find out. Sorry, it hasn't happened since.
That's okay.
I
whatever.
apologize.
When we
I got
out,
good at my job, apparently.
Yeah. When we go out, I don't know. There's like a certain vibe about us either way. I don't know if it's like a calming vibe that like we bring. Somehow, some way, we always get like something for free. We don't know why. It's more me.
Is it maybe your chameleon, like calm, somewhat forgettable thing that you have going on, where you're just like there, you don't stand out too much, so like you know.
Yeah, we don't really stand out too much because.
So imagine like in a rush. There's all the people that are yelling and demanding, and then there's you guys that are just there that are like, whenever you're ready, I'll get a drink.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. You get all the craziness, you throw a drink your way, and then when you're remembering who got stuff to ring in,
yeah.
and you don't remember the people that were calmly there, like, it's okay, just like send one when you get a chance.
Yeah. Have you had someone walk out on you before?
Yes.
How did that interaction go?
Last time. So I've actually chased somebody out while they were in their car and stopped their car before. But this is one of those stoner people. He used to come in all the time. I don't know I recently learned his real name because he continuously sends me friend requests on Facebook, even though I never accept them.
Sounds awful.
Like, you know, like when it's very apparent, when
weird.
somebody sent me a friend request like 2 months ago and then it comes up again.
Oh, that's
so that
weird.
they remove their
weird.
request and
That's
then resend.
weird.
Yeah, constant.
Weird.
Very weird.
Oh, maybe they didn't see it.
Yeah, like maybe just like,
no,
it's
we
been
saw
a year,
it.
I
We
saw it,
it.
I'm not going to accept it, I'm sorry. This kid has had the cops go to, I know this from articles in the news and everything that I know.
Public knowledge.
It's public knowledge, I just knew him personally. This kid is the biggest pothead I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because his brain cells remain questionable if there are any left. He's burnt. He's the definition of burnt.
Okay,
That is a more accurate portrayal of this
Sounds like
man.
a good guy.
He goes by the name. That was how I originally knew him. That is how I know him. Again, I only.
Sure.
I think these two would literally both die just from trying to have a conversation with each other. If they were to ever interact, I can't imagine how he would breed such a child, or I can't imagine anyone even breeding with this man. But this kid just is, like you ask him what he wants to drink, or like you ask him what he wants to drink, you know what we have on tap. Does he talks like this, man. Yeah, he literally talks like that, I'm not kidding. He's like 28, and he comes in, like, let me get a Willis. He talks like that. So ridiculous. High-pitched voice and everything. Sits there just completely burnt. Always asks if we have tacos. Why you got any tacos here, man? Because we're a sports bar, not a Mexican restaurant. Always ask for tacos. Just like a big
Sounds
nuisance.
terrible.
Oh, the worst. Pays the bill. The tip is always like $1. It's always bought. It's always $1. I've literally gone up to him and gone, give me more money. Like, you're gonna give me a decent tip. Give me $5. Give it to me now.
God.
I've had to do it because it's just like after so
terrible.
long. He's gotten called out by other people who like literally be like, dude, like if you're gonna be this annoying, like at least tip her. Like they're all aware. Like he walked out. He put $20 in the bar and just left, and his tab was $26. And I was like, oh no, I am not only am I not gonna tip, but I'm not going to cover the other portion of the bill that he didn't pay. Exactly, I'm not eating $6.
Yeah.
So I ran outside and I saw his stupid ass sitting in his car, and I went, hey, and looked up, and I stood in front of his car and I put my hand on the hood. I said, you get out of your car now. And he was like, what's going on, man? He's ridiculous. Like a crackhead, but he's just high. And he got out. I said, go pay your tab. I put $20 on the bar. I said, that is not enough. You bought someone a shot. Your tab is $25. Get in there and pay it and give me a tip. I'm sorry, man. Runs in. Like, literally the worst human. Literally have not seen him since. He's not come in since.
I wouldn't come in. I wouldn't come in again.
I've never seen him
never come in.
since. He also didn't come in for a long period of time because the police got called, or his fire alarm was going off, and he slept through it, and the police showed up, and he had shrooms, LSD, Molly, and weed on a table, and he fell asleep making french fries, and the french fries burnt and set the smoke alarm off. The entire building was evacuated, but he woke up to them pounding on his door, and I said, listen, man, put that stuff away, we're not gonna bust you, like, just put it away, or whatever. This is what I heard. And then, all of a sudden, he was never there again, and like these people come in, they go, do you hear what happened to and I'm like, what happened? This burnt motherfucker fell asleep again, cooking something in his oven to the point in which the fire alarm went off, and yet again had all of these drugs. He had like 5 pounds of marijuana. He got arrested. He went to jail. He's done. I have not seen him since. This all happened after he walked out on the tab. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let myself think that was karma for him always not tipping me and trying to walk out on shit. But this kid, like, I wish you could meet him because it would make so much more sense.
I want to. I just want to hear his voice.
I swear he sounds exactly like that. Like his voice got fried with the weed that he smoked, man. Like it literally sounds exactly like that. Wild. I don't even know how we got on this subject, but what a character of a human. Like that kid looks like he was from like some cartoon on Adult Swim. Like he was not a real person. Like someone put him there for pure entertainment.
What cartoon got into this life?
Yeah,
and just like started making a living. Like he just spawned randomly.
He did. He was just a non-player character that was just put there for you to just go every time he walked in, and just for pure entertainment. There was no other purpose in his existence. I swear to God, he was there for people to just be like, okay, at least I'm not that. Like that was it. That was it.
That's something.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here, but like, I'm glad that we were able to bring him up because I forgot that he existed.
Well, I'm just glad I know him. I'll ask you after what his actual name is. That way I can see if I like.
Oh yeah,
know,
I'll
like,
show
the
you.
name or
I'll show you.
something.
See if you know him.
But, yeah.
I think he's from the area. I'm not sure.
We don't know. We don't know where he is.
I don't know where he is. I don't know where he's
spawned
from.
somewhere else. At this point.
Yeah.
He's in Oakland.
I think so. I don't even know how he has a license. Honestly, I don't know how
Yeah.
he drove. I don't know how he remembered how to go home. I think if you dropped him in the middle of a field, my dog would have a better chance of getting back home than he does. No idea.
That sounds terrible.
No idea.
That sounds awful.
Interesting
What,
character.
Are you someone that lives in the moment, like a day-to-day person, or thinks about the future?
Oh no, I'm a day-to-day. The future can kiss my ass because I don't know what's coming.
Okay.
I wake up in the morning and I go, let's see what the hell happens. That's literally how I live my life. Something will come my way. I'm like, this was a cool turn of events. This adds a little more to the story of my life.
Okay. What do you want to do with your life?
Oh my god. What do I want to do with my life?
I'm just curious, you know? You could say you don't know. Okay.
I literally have no idea. I mean, I have ideas.
Dreams?
Dreams.
What are they?
I don't really like to say dreams because a real dream would be like, I wish I could be like a singer, like something that makes I just want to be rich. Like, that's my dream. I want money.
Interesting.
I want to
like
live without worrying.
Just like a hot wife type of deal?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
I just want to live. I want to do whatever I want. I want to travel. I want, those are dreams. My, realistic future ideas or plans or what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love people. This is why I work in a bar. I think I find the most interesting stories.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of people that I never in a million years would have imagined that, this is where my life would take me and these are the people that I would surround myself with. And I'm so grateful for it because this small town bar has seen the best and worst aspects of my life. I swear to God. Everybody there, all my regulars, know so much about me, maybe too much. But I also know a lot about them, but they've all individually helped me in some way through a lot of stuff and brightened up a lot of my time. It sounds so awful to say, but the best part of some of my days is going to work because I get to talk to all of these people and I get
that doesn't sound bad.
But normally people are like, ew, I hate going to work. I honestly love going to work more for the people that are there. Yeah, I know, your life sucks. Mine's better just because I work in a bar. And I used to feel ashamed about when people would go, what do you do for a living? What do you do? And I would say, oh, I'm a bartender. And people that come in the bar and go I'm not trying to be rude, but is this your real, do you have a real job? And I'm like,
when I make double what you make?
Yeah, this is my real job. I literally get paid for men to hit on me, flirt with me, and to make people drinks, make women feel more comfortable, socialize, help people, listen to people's problems. I'm literally, I do 1,000 jobs in one job.
Many hats.
And I love every aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I make pretty damn good money from it, so I'm not going to complain. But given that, my, I guess you could say it is a dream now that I think about it. I love to cook. I love people. I love to make drinks. I've always wanted my own restaurant. My dad has always wanted to have a restaurant with me. I thought about the dive bar aspect, but when I worked at the other Gridiron, the sister grid.
Yeah.
But that's a little too much for me. And I want the food aspect. I want I want to do a gastropub. That would be my dream.
Okay. Yeah.
That or so cheesy, so corny, but a dog bar.
Wow,
so
that'd be
bad.
awesome.
So bad, a dog bar. An outdoor area, dogs can play in water, people can dip their feet in pools.
Oh, yeah.
We saw something about this online that just opened up in Florida or something, obviously because everything good is in Florida. Well, no, that's a problem. Yeah. Everything interesting is in Florida. I'm going to be careful there because Florida sus sometimes.
Okay.
But I need to be around people. I could never work in an office job. My future I could never look in the future and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit and work a 9 to 5. That just sounds horrible.
And wear a suit and tie.
Exactly. I want to drink. I want to be out till 1 in the morning. I have too much energy to sit there. I also think if I couldn't talk, I would die.
Ooh, wow.
If I couldn't speak to people.
Oh my God.
As you notice, I talk a lot.
I'm thinking about that right now.
I think I don't know what I would do. I would end up in an asylum, talking to myself is what would happen.
That would be a slow, painful death for you.
It would be such a slow, painful death. Cutting me off from conversation and communication and from society or just people in general. I don't even care if you're a hobo. If I cannot talk to somebody, I will literally lose my goddamn mind.
Yeah. This dog bar, what's the first step to making it happen?
To make a dog bar? Finding a location.
Okay.
Finding a decent location.
That's the first step?
That would definitely be the first step because you have to find a location
Have you looked?
Have I looked into the dog bar thing?
Yeah.
I looked more into the gastropub thing more than I did the dog dog bar thing because since I started in the restaurant industry, I was I want to do a gastropub. I want to do bar food, but that's better. And I want it to be
upscale-ish.
Yeah, have you ever heard of Dr. Duff's?
Mm-mm.
So it's this really weird aesthetic of bar, but it's the bar stools are kegs that they put cushions on. The couches are bathtubs that were cut in half.
Oh,
and then the walls are covered in stickers that like you buy at skateboard shops and everything like that. They have a white tree with Christmas lights that's just, it's just like everywhere you walk into, there's like something interesting and like something you want to take a picture in front of. Like it gets people in the door because they want to sit there, they want to drink their cool drinks and take pictures. And then you have you're basically getting free advertisement just from having a cool concept of a restaurant or a bar is like where I originally went. But now I've thought about the dog thing. I'm like, that is the same thing. It does the same thing.
Yeah.
People are going to take videos. People are going to take pictures. And also, like, I love dogs and people. And that's just two things combined.
Yeah.
Puppies running around. They have their own dog menu. Little dog menu. Come on. Come on now. That'd be so cute. They have little places they can sit.
One menu for you, sir.
Yes, literally. Just like a little menu for you. What are you thinking today? Do we want like a little dog ice cream dessert? Is it a dessert kind of day? Are we looking for like little burger and fries? Like what are we doing? Like it's just such a cool concept. Like dogs can get their own drinks, but it's like water in a bowl, or you can get like little like I need to stop because I'm gonna go on a tangent here. But like I've thought about it, but like I just need like you need. Location is a big thing because you don't want to go to an area where like if you think about it, you put it in a town and like you look around, there's no dog parks in that town. Probably not a lot of dog owners, you know what I mean? Not a lot of people out. Like Bristol and Warren, like people bring their dogs to the bars all the time. It's like a big dog area. Like something like that is where I think that kind of idea would thrive the most. Sit down by the water, sit in a field, like have like an outdoor area and an indoor area, like where you can open up outside. If it rains or if it's like crappy, you shut the outside, but the inside is still like, there's dog toys everywhere. You can go play with it. There's tennis balls, you can throw them. There's just dogs socializing. Just, does that not sound amazing?
It does.
Maybe get a buzz while you're doing it. Call an Uber that can bring your dog. Get a designated dog driver. I don't know. But like that sounds amazing. Just drunk with a sea of dogs. Even if you don't have a dog, you just get to sit there and get drunk and play with other people's dogs.
Have you thought about the poop aspect?
No. Didn't think about the poop aspect.
Okay.
But I feel like we would have like it's like in airports. You have like that grass area. You bring a dog to an airport, they have like that area for animals to go to the bathroom.
In the building?
In an airport. You never seen that?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Ah, you go in an
I've
airport.
never brought a dog to an airport.
Well,
so
you travel with animals.
Yeah.
Well, I just am weird and I like to walk around airports. So I've seen them.
Even if you're
I didn't have a dog.
Even if you're not taking a flight, like
no,
you just walk around.
No, I don't just drive up to airports and go, what do I want to do today? I want to stroll around Logan. That is not what I do. That is not what I do. No, but like if I'm in an airport on a flight, I'm like, let me see what this place got. You know what I mean? What kind of bars is going on? And like, I didn't have a dog, but I saw like this thing that said animal something, and I was like, what is this? And I walked in there and I was like, oh, it's grass. And then it's like a turf fake grass thing, but it's like I guess it smells like animal stuff, so like they'll go in there and they'll go to the bathroom there. So like if you're stuck in the airport on a delay or like you want your dog to go before you go on the flight, obviously you don't want your dog poop on a flight, that'd be so gross and weird and everyone would hate you.
Yep.
So like you have put that like in like an area, like off, away from everything. So like you're not eating and you smell dog shit, you know? Because that would be a turn off. That wouldn't be fun.
Yeah. One of the you had said a point earlier about your customers, okay? And they've seen some of the best and worst moments of you. What are those? What are some of those that you're willing to explore here?
Honestly, I am very open. I'll talk about anything. So I was in a very bad relationship. Like very bad.
I feel like you've chatted briefly about this to me.
Probably.
Yeah.
See, probably.
I don't believe that you told me specifics, but
like if
I believe that you've told me about this in some aspect.
Yes. So I was in, and like anybody that's been in this situation, like, you know, you can do it. It takes a while. It's very hard. Where like I didn't realize that it was bad until like too late. I had moved in. My entire life is there, and then you slowly realize you don't really hang out with your friends anymore.
Gotcha.
Like I didn't really like. I'd see my friends like once in a blue moon, if at all.
Yep.
And then the circle got smaller. I got into a very controlling, very abusive, emotionally, physically, very aggressive relationship of a situation, and it showed because I mean I couldn't go out. If I went out, I had to be home before he got home, because if I wasn't home when he got home, big problem.
Yeah.
What's it called? I literally would not leave my job. I would not leave Grid. I would stay there and drink after work at the time when we used to do that as long as I could, or stay with those people as long as I could, because I knew as soon as I got home, it was going to be like back to prison. We used to always, now whenever I talk to my friends, we refer to it we always say when I lived in prison, when I lived in jail, because he had a finished basement that we turned into an apartment and had a bathroom, bed or whatever, but there was like literally only 2 windows of light, and I literally spent like probably a year there, just like in that basement by myself, because like I didn't have I still had friends that like reached out to me and stuff, but like I always would have excuses on why I couldn't hang out, because I knew I couldn't ever go do anything without coming back to a problem. He actually got kicked out and banned from my job while I was dating him because he was so crazy. He made a giant scene, and it apparently wasn't the first time. I found out a lot of things after the fact about how a girl had pressed charges against him and everything. This I found out all too late. And then I was in it, I was stuck, and there was nothing I could do about it. And then I had a lot of people, like a lot of my regulars didn't know until like I was really far into it, and then I got a little bit more comfortable sharing about it, and that was mainly after it ended. And they really saw the problem when it ended, because he started stalking me. So he started waiting outside my job, walking into my job, and getting kicked out. Switching cars when I pulled in the parking lot. I would always scan it. My bosses would look out, make sure no one was there. Like, they saw him, grabbed me outside. Like, everybody just became hyper involved in like trying to make sure I was okay, I was safe. People were offering me places to stay for me to, like, listen, if you leave, like, you can stay at my place, like, I have an extra room, or like, oh, I have an apartment here, like, you can use it, like, you just gotta leave. And a lot of my friends back home kind of turned a blind eye to it. Like, I don't want to say that they were bad friends, because they weren't. I've been friends with them since I was a little girl, and like, they are very good people, but like a lot of people don't know how to approach that situation. And like, I can't even say that I would have done anything differently, because I don't really know. Didn't know at the time how to approach it. Now, having been in it, I definitely have a more aggressive approach. And Jenna, who I work with, actually was a big part in getting me to leave, because she didn't kind of just, most people are aggressive with it, and they're just like, you just need to leave. It's not that hard. You just need to leave. It's not that hard. Where like, she saw a lot of the back end of it and kind of was like, listen, like, you'll know when you can do it. Like, you'll find a time when you can do it. And a lot of those people at the bar knew and were that same kind of backbone for me, of kind of like, you'll get the opportunity and you'll take it, and like, we'll all be here. Like, you will find that strength. And a lot of people, like, I cried to a lot of people about it, and like, because I was just so trapped, and I felt like I didn't have any options. And like, it sounds so weird, but a lot of my regulars were like my family. Like, they were just there for me. Like, my own parents didn't know what was going on. I was too ashamed to tell them, because I was like, my mom works with people like that all the time. So I was like, how could I sit there and be like, oh, it happened to me? So these people kind of rallied around me and were really like my family for me, until I finally was like, all right, I can tell my parents. They helped me with that. They helped me feel safe and secure, and like, were looking out for me, and just like giving me any advice they could to try and like make sure that I didn't let myself stay there, but without directly being like, just leave, just get out, it's not that hard, kind of making me feel bad for being in the situation in and of itself. And they got me through it. And when I finally got out, my friend Jenna was right there with me. She pulled me out of it. She really helped me through it along with them. I really owe a lot of my shit to her. And then when I came out the light on the other side, I mean, they celebrated with me. It was like they were celebrating, like, hey, like, you did it, you got through it, you survived it. I mean, a lot of people knew. I mean, I wasn't there 1 week because I had to go to the hospital because my arm got snapped too hard behind my back. And I said I slipped on ice. Everyone kind of figured out around that one real quick, because they knew him and they knew the kind of shit that he pulled. And they're like, listen, I know you're not going to tell us exactly what happened, but like, we want you to know, we know you didn't slip on ice, but we're here if you ever want to talk about it. And they just really were like a support system for me. And like I said, I got through it. They celebrated with me. They kind of reminded me that they're proud of like how far I came, and like, my parents all know them now. Like, my parents come to visit and they're always like, oh, Alicia's parents. It's like, they're like little celebrities, and like, they all like get to know my family, and like, they'll always go over and like, they always say such kind words, and like, they'll buy my parents drinks. So they'll say, oh, let me get their dinner. Like, my father went to the hospital and was in and out, needed open heart surgery. My dad has been very sick for like a year, and they've all been there for me, always asking, how's your dad doing? Listen, like, he's gonna pull through. Like, they're just, it's so cheesy, but like my regulars are literally so important to me, and like they are a big part of the reason why I've stayed at my job for so long, because they're not even like customers anymore, they're like family to me, and like they have taken care of me, they've helped me, and I mean they celebrate, and they are also support systems, so
Yeah.
I can't say anything really bad about them. They've just seen so much of my life and my growth. I also started there when I was 19.
Yeah.
And I'm 25, so
Yeah.
they saw me go through so many different stages of like trying to become an adult, and supported me through the whole thing, whether it was to laugh or to cry or to just be there. So
Yeah.
it's crazy to think that a restaurant can have that much of an
Wow.
effect on you.
That is I mean, that's really amazing that like just this family that you created had such a supportive impact on
Oh, yeah.
what you just went through.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty crazy.
It's
pretty
why I
crazy.
never in a million years would think that those people, because the people that you think are going to be there for you sometimes aren't, and it wasn't even like they were rude or like not trying to help me or anything. I just was I think it was more I was too embarrassed to share it with people that have known me for
I
so long,
understand, yeah.
because like they've always looked at me as like, most people meet me and they think that I'm like a very like don't fuck with her kind of person with my attitude, like,
Yeah.
oh, Alicia could do this, Alicia could do that. So like I didn't want them to know that like I wasn't what they've all made me out to be. Like I was weaker than they thought or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of like tried to hide as much of it as I could, while even though there was really no hiding it was very obvious. And instead, like these people that were around me all the time just were like, we can see it, and just kind of like stepped up and were essentially those people for me. And it's wild, because I did not think a small town bar in Swansea was going to really have my back like that. And like, you know, small towns, I come from one, and sometimes they suck, but like Swansea's got some good people.
Yeah.
They got some good people here.
If you're up for this, walk me through the day that you left.
I can do that.
Okay. Only if you want to.
No, it's okay. Honestly,
Okay.
I used to be weird about telling the story about like everything and stuff like that, but now I'm really not, because I feel like the more people that hear it, you never know who is gonna help.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You
We
never
don't
know
know
who's
who's
gonna,
listening.
exactly, you don't know who's gonna hear it and be like, oh my god, that was me. Or, oh my god, if she can do it, maybe I can do it. Or like, at least there's someone else there that's gone through it. But, so I had endured pretty much a lot. I'd gotten a fat lip, I'd had the bruises, I've had the verbal abuse, I had lost all my friends, barely saw my own family anymore. Like, pretty much had been in the locked box. And I actually found out that I apparently blocked this out of my memory. My mother decided to bring it to light literally a couple months ago and was like, do you remember why you left? And I was like, that is a very good question. No, I don't. After her repeating it to me, I did. But the day I finally was like, you know, I need to leave. So I had slowly but surely been like accruing my items and like packing them.
Yeah.
But trying to do it to the point to avoid like suspicion of being like, where's all this stuff going? So like every week I would like put a couple clothing items in a bin, or like we had a bunch of stuff that was stored from like winter clothes and whatever, and I made sure that all his clothes were separated from mine in their own thing. So I made sure I had all my stuff was like right there and ready. And then one day he asked me to take a day off from work, and I never took days off because those were the only times to get away.
Yeah.
And he hated that I worked in a bar. He hated that I pretty much was just not under his thumb all the time. And he said he wanted me to take a day off from work, and I said, oh, like, I don't know, like, it's really hard to get time off. Any excuse I could possibly find. And he was like, listen, you never take time off. I want you to take this Thursday off. And I said, okay. He said, you're going to get it off. You're going to go down there. You're going to tell her you're going to get it off. Never took it off. Never requested it off. I was like, I'll make up some excuse. Oh, this person called out. Oh, I couldn't. And then he asked me, did you ask for that day off? And I went, oh, well, like, these people already requested this day off. And he said, listen, you don't get that day off. That day that you get home, that Thursday off, you come home from work that Thursday, it'll be the worst night of your life. And the biggest regret would be for you will not have been taking that day off. And that is a promise that I can make to you. And I stood there, and I was like, oh my God, okay. And I want to just make things clear that I was not like a little weakling too when he would do these things. I tried to stand up for myself. I mean, even in the physical abuse, I would try like my hardest. Like, I would never just sit there and just be like, okay, like, you were right. Like, I tried to like so hard to like convince myself that like I'm trying to like kind of change them, or like, oh, he'll realize it if I scream it in his face. He'll realize it if this, like, hey, like, you are psycho, like, you're crazy, like, you have unrealistic expectations here. And that didn't work clearly. But that Tuesday came, and I remember I was sweating, and I was like, I need to move out today. Because I work Wednesday night, and I'm not gonna get Thursday off. So like today needs to be the day. I need to get up. And I got up. I remember he left for work. I pretended I was still asleep, and the second that door shut, my eyes were up. I jumped out of bed. I packed as many things as I could, and then it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was panicking. I was like, I'm not gonna get this done. I'm never gonna get this stuff out. He's gonna come home. I'm gonna still be packing, and that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna find out what Thursday was bringing today. And I sat in the bed, and I was sweating, and I couldn't move, and I called my mom, and I told her what was happening. I told her what was going on, and I said, I can't move. All I want to do is take a shower. I am just sweating, and I'm frozen, and I need to get out. And my mom dropped everything, walked out of a meeting. She had to go to something for court. She called out of court and was like, listen, I have a family emergency. Took her an hour, because they live in Ashland. Drove all the way up, and she said, go in the shower. Took a shower. By the time I got out, all my stuff was gone. She had called Jenna. Jenna had come, packed up all my stuff with my mom. And his mom came home. And his mom said, and my mom walked right up to her and said, you better keep that phone in your bag. I do not want to find out that you text him and let your son know what's going on. She said, well, I wish. Mom said, and what would he do? What would happen if we told him? Would we be leaving right now? No. And his mother was was kind of like, not having somebody like that in your home is kind of like weird. So like she used to always say to me, if you just do what he says, it'll stop. Which to me was classic. I would say, well, why does he just not do it? And she'd be like, but if you just listen to him, it'll all stop. If you just do what he says, he won't act like that. And I am not a person that likes to be told what to do, so that was like also why it was a big problem. And I said, no, listen, like, you know what goes on down there. I went to the hospital, and you told me that you knew, but you never said one word to me. There's so many things that have been wrong that I said, what if it was your daughter? What if it was your daughter that this was happening to? Oh, I do anything for my kids. Okay, but you also told me that you look at me like a daughter, but you would never let that happen to your daughter. How can you let your son do that to someone else? Let alone you. How do you let him do it to you? And so we finished packing up, and I sat there, and my mom wanted to be there with me, and I said no. I said, this is something that I need to show that I'm strong enough to do, that I can do on my own, and that I've been waiting for 2 years almost now. Well, I didn't know it was that bad. It's like a year and a half. And I need to do it myself. So I made her go down the street to Hometown Tavern and park in that parking lot, because I said, he'll know your car. He pulled in, he came home, freaked out, didn't understand what was going on. And I remember I was crying, because like, I mean, whether you're in an abusive relationship or not, there is always that part of you that like, you wake up that day and you're like, they're going to go back to how they were, even though they never will. They never will. The love bombing, the affection, the niceness, the picking up your friends' tabs, everything, that all goes out the window once they show their true colors. You're never going to get that back. That's never going to happen again. So I did cry a little bit for the relationship, and then, I'm going to seem like such a sick bitch, but it's fine. As soon as he started crying, I had no tears. I had no remorse. I felt nothing but pure joy, because I held the power. I was empowered. I was like, I'm free. You literally can't do anything. You can't do anything. And he begged me, snot running down his face, crying, begged me. And I was like, no, like, my mom's on the street. Tell her to come back. Tell her to bring your stuff. No, I'm done. I'm out. You cannot touch me anymore. You cannot hurt me anymore. Like, this is it. And then it got crazy for a second. He did have guns. He had a shotgun, an AK-47, and a Glock. And he pulled out the Glock and put it to his head and said, I swear to God, I'll do it. I swear to God, I'll pull the trigger. And there was no part of me that felt fear. There was no part of me that felt sadness. I just literally looked at him and I said, listen, the way that you are with me, I said, I know damn well you will never pull that trigger, because you would rather live and be able to watch me and see what I'm up to than pull that trigger and know that you're gone and I'm still out here doing whatever the hell I want. And he put it down on the table. And his mom picked it up and was like, oh, I don't really care. Girls, be careful. And I left, and the best moment was he followed me to my car, and I was like, you can't touch me, you can't do anything, because my mom will know. You do anything to me, I guarantee you'll be in a world of hurt. And I got in my car, and he sat there crying and waved to me goodbye. I'm laughing, I'm sorry, it's horrible. But he waved to me goodbye as I drove away. And I actually played Halsey's You Should Be, sorry, on my way home. And I screamed and I cried tears of joy. And me and my mom went out to the bar and got drunk. And it was great. And I was free for a little bit. And then the stalking started. And then the following me home and tracking me down a dead end. And then following me in traffic, and then I had to get a restraining order, and then that was granted, and it kind of felt like the breakup all over again. It kind of felt like, holy crap, like I like just got freedom again for a second time. I don't have to look over my shoulder, I don't have to be careful. And then he broke the restraining order, so I was like, okay, he's gonna go to jail, this is gonna be it, this is gonna be what triggers his brain. But then they gave him anger management and like some kind of spousal abuse, like domestic violence seminar thing, and I guess maybe that did the trick or something, because not a word since. Didn't get that underlying anxiety all the time, especially when I drive in Bristol, because he's from Bristol. So I lived there. I was told, hey, you need to move out of the town. It's not fair that you live here. But my life had been established there. I lived with Jenna. She actually looked for 2-bedroom apartments for so long, knowing that I needed to leave, because she wanted to get a place that she knew that when I finally could leave, that I would have a place to go. So I didn't still feel trapped. I didn't think I was going to be homeless. And then she ended up buying a house, because she was like, a 2-bedroom apartment is very expensive and same price as a mortgage. So I wanted to be able to get something that I know that I could still have you come into and still have you live when you're ready for that moment. And that was also a big part of it. And I actually slept on one of my friend's couches for 3 months before the sale went final on her house. But it was a huge thing. It was a very empowering moment. It can happen to anyone. You never think it could be you, but it can be you very easily. And it's just something that I'm forever grateful that I had all those people around me for. My grid friends, my regulars, my friends that I've made along the way that were there for me, because I think I would still somehow be trapped there if it wasn't for all of them. It really takes a community to help you, because you can yell at someone until you're blue in the face. It's like I always used to tell people, it's like watching a movie or that show with that girl getting abused, and you're like, why don't you just leave? Why are you being stupid? Just leave, just walk out the door, until you are that girl, and then you're yelling at yourself. And you're like, but it's not that easy. And you're saying exactly what they say. It's not that easy. I can't just leave. Like, I have nowhere to go. I don't really have as many friends anymore. My family doesn't even know what's going on. How can I tell them? It's just like a bunch of madness. And it was like, if I leave and I move back home, I have to lose my job. And then I lose my job. I lose all this family and this community I built around myself. And then I lose everything. And then you realize that all those people you're not going to lose them. They're actually there to help you through it. And they're there to make sure that you're strong enough without pressuring you into doing anything you're not ready for, and that like they have your back.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the most powerful conversations we have had on this podcast.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the story can be heard. It's something that happens a lot. People don't, I feel like, talk about often, because you're nervous about how you'll look and if you'll be perceived as like somebody that is a victim or whatever. And like, I can say I was a victim, but I don't see myself as that. I see myself as a survivor.
Yeah.
And as somebody that came out the other side, and I'm there to hear other people. Like, I witnessed it with other people since then, and now I very easily recognize the signs of when it's happening to other people that you normally don't see as a sign of that. You see it as like, oh, like it's just they're just arguing, or it's just like, oh, it's their relationship. But like, there are signs that you can easily see in other people now, and like the advice you can give them and the help you can provide. Like, I had another girl that at my job actually that it happened to, and I said, listen, I know everybody's gonna tell you to leave. Everyone's gonna tell you just need to move out. You just need to break up. You just need to like get out of the situation. But like, I know you're not gonna do it. I know you're not gonna do it until you yourself hit that moment, or hit that like that rock bottom moment when you're like, okay, I gotta go. Like, this is what's gonna be bad. I need to do it for myself, for those around me that are dealing with it, that are hearing about it all the time. It's not even really about them, but like, you think about that too. It takes everything for you to leave. It does. It really does. It takes everything you have in you to leave a situation like that. Because also, like, you don't know, like, are they gonna kill me? Are they gonna absolutely beat the shit out of me? I mean, I had all of those. I literally thought, I was like, he could beat me within an inch of my life if he wanted to, and like no one would know. Or I could get stuck here forever, or you could be stalked. All those things, they happen. It's never just a clean cut either. Like everybody that once said to me, why don't you just leave? Have multiple people have looked at me and been like, I can understand why it was so hard for you to get the courage because of everything that comes after. It's not even the initial moment. It's everything that you know that's going to come afterwards. It's the spamming of texts, the following, the trying to get you alone, I got gifts tied to my car, letters stuck in my windshield, everything. Like just knowing at any moment they could be watching you, that they could be just making sure, checking in, they could blend in, just watching every aspect of your life. Anything they want to do, they could do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I had more impactful words than just like, hey, I'm proud of you for going through this.
That's okay.
You know?
Thank
like
you.
I wish that there were more powerful words that I could give you. You know.
That's
but
okay. I mean, it's a shock. It's anybody you say it to.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter who you say it to, it's very hard. Even having been through it, if somebody tells you something, it's just like there's really no words for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all you can say is like what you said. Like I'm proud. It's crazy to hear that somebody that you're talking to or somebody that you know has gone through something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like me even telling my parents and my friends, it's just like the same way. It's just like like I'm so happy that you're out, and I'm so proud of you for realizing that you need to get out. But like they're like, I don't know what to say to you. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to know the words, just the story pretty much.
Yeah.
And to make sure to look for signs.
Yeah. Wow.
Help someone else if you can.
I think this is going to help a lot of people right here.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope
think
so. I'm also always open for people to reach out.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, that's good for
Thanks.
you.
It's weird because I don't think of myself as somebody that would be, like, you know, like inspiring
Yeah,
or
here
like
we are.
powerful or whatever.
Yeah, here you are.
Yeah, now I'm
You
like,
know?
oh no, like.
That's
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You know?
I survived that.
Yeah.
I survived that
This
shit.
has been a very multi-layered, multifaceted conversation.
Yeah.
And just that shows the many layers that you have to yourself as well. So that's really awesome to be able to
Thank you.
unpack a little bit as well
Yeah.
there. I guess we'll get into our last question here on a lighter-ish
That's
note,
fine.
but you know, we have the last question from the last guest, okay? So this is from Nate Palmer, okay? You didn't know who you were, that you were coming on. This is a fun one for you, I think.
I'm excited.
If you could double the size of one body part, what would it be and why?
If I could double the size, okay, well, when you're doubling something the size of something in your body, I feel like I'm left with like 2 options here.
Yeah.
I'm caught between a rock and a hard place because
Okay.
fat asses are so in right now.
Yeah.
But like,
Double the size is huge.
double that would be a little ridiculous.
That's
what I'm thinking.
really big.
I literally don't want a shelf. Like I don't
Yeah.
want people to be able to
Yeah.
stock things on my
Yeah.
ass. Probably boobs. Only because just like all my friends have boobs and I'm like, I wish I had boobs, you know? Like I feel like when you look from the front, like, oh my god, like I'm a girl and like I talk to people, I talk to my friends, and I'm always looking at their boobs. Like not in a weird way, like I'm not like that dude at the bar that I actually have one of those who call him Robert Boobies because all he does is stare at your boobs in a very uncomfortable manner. Like the whole time you're talking to him, he just does this, like the eyes go up and down. Like it's like
That's
no remorse. No, like I could
weird.
literally sit like this and he'd still. But like, I guess I want some cleavage, man. Like I want some boobs people don't look at. Like I don't know. Like I just like I've never played with anything really. Like I just want to like hold something. I don't know. I used to say when I was a kid that I no word of a lie actually.
Yeah.
So it's definitely boobs. Because when I was a kid, I used to tell my mom that one day I was gonna get really fat and then I was gonna lose all that weight just so I'd have a big pair of boobs. And my mom, who also does not have boobs, was like, that is not how
How
the
it
human
works.
body works at all. If anything, you'd go back to small boobs, they'd just be lower on your body.
Yeah,
and I was
that would
like,
be
that's so depressing.
Yeah, that
She was
would
like,
be
the only thing you could do is spend thousands of dollars for circular boobs. And I was like, but I don't want them to be too circular, Ma. She was like, listen, girl, I know. I'm living the same life as you. 60 years old, and I never did this either, so. Like, I want my, like, I can motorboat my friends. I want to be like, yeah, motorboat me. Like, it's not a thing. They're like, ow, my nose. It's just straight bone. So I guess that's my answer. Boobs.
Okay.
Final answer.
Beautiful. We'll leave off there. All right. Boobs. Thanks, guys. Whew.